Hi, I'm Holly Cook.
And I'm Patty Cowden.
We're from Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place.
Stay tuned for more of our story.
Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we are going to look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Dwayne Weed.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Discover Montcalm podcast, which, as you just heard, we're talking to Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place. I have Holly and Patty here with me today, and we're going to learn more about this organization and what they do. So let's jump right into it. Patty, you're the board director?
President.
Okay, let's get our titles straight. And Holly?
I'm a member at large.
You're a member at large. And it was you and I that were going back and forth as we were doing this to try to get things going and organized. So before we get into your story, let's learn a little bit about the backstory. Patty, where did you grow up?
I grew up all around the country, starting at Lackland Air Force Base, going to Anchorage, Alaska, all through the Midwest. Came to Michigan as a teenager to Belding High School. Okay,
and then from there you traveled, and now you're up in Six Lakes.
Correct.
Holly, how about you?
I was actually born in Greenville, raised in the Greenville area until I went to college, was married, and my husband and I moved over to the Thumb area.
Okay.
Lived in Chesaning and Saginaw at the end of that time, and then came back to Montcalm in 1981. And we've been here ever since.
Well, because you have grown up here, I'll ask you a quick question. From the time that you can remember being young to now, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in the Montcalm and Greenville area?
Well, I think about how my dad, I grew up with my dad working at Gibson's.
Okay.
Not only in Greenville, but then in Belding. Mom worked at the penny store, so the downtown area was really vibrant in Greenville at that time. The town certainly has grown. The county has grown. I didn't get out into the outer parts of the county as much until in my working life.
Right.
Then I traveled all over the county.
Okay. So there's change?
Absolutely.
Everywhere we go, right? You know, you were Belding when you first started, Patty, and then you're kind of back in this area. What is it about Montcalm County that you appreciate?
I really appreciate our libraries, the downtowns that are growing and moving toward into the future, and I see a lot of positive things happening in our county.
Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place.
That's quite a title, isn't it?
It really is. Let that roll off a little bit quick. How did it start?
Jan Wheelock was the founder, and it started with wanting to bring together different groups that were doing positive things in the community. She considers us to be the plus sign.
Okay.
We help other organizations just with things that we can do.
Okay.
Even starting before that, during the pandemic, Jan organized a bunch of us to send Get Out the Vote cards.
Okay.
Not necessarily partisan. We're truly a nonpartisan nonprofit. But Jan started us out during the pandemic, where she would keep cards in a cooler on her front door step so that we weren't having personal contact.
Right.
We can't imagine what her neighbors thought she was doing. We'd come there and take something and leave something.
Yeah, what's going on that street, you know?
And off we'd go. And that continued through the pandemic. After that, Jan really wanted to get us together, expand the notion of what we're doing, not just getting out the vote, which is an important thing, but spreading to be, as Patty said, the extra.
Okay. You call it the plus sign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. volunteers in action. Okay, I kind of understand that, the plus sign. Let's dive deeper. What is it exactly that you do?
We do a lot of things for a lot of groups.
Okay.
So for those who are doing the third meal, for students, we decorate the lunch bags that they get.
Okay.
So they have personal messages and again, the positivity, a good feeling.
And for adults that are in foster care or nursing homes, we deliver, sometimes make the cards, sometimes have cards that are donated to us, and we deliver cards to as many people as we can. We can't afford to mail them, so
Okay.
we hand deliver. Last year, we delivered over 3,000 holiday cards
Wow.
throughout the year around Montcalm County.
So you're there to help other nonprofits.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the plus sign.
Yes.
Okay. When I look at this, and you asked me about questions before we got started. I really wanted this to be like we just sat down for a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know much about your organization. You said it's new. What did it start in 2020 or was it before that? I'm putting you to the test here.
Formally, it was after 2020. In fact, we just filed our 501c3 paperwork about a year ago, year and a half, something like that. But we do have all of our 501c3 nonprofit status at this point.
Okay. I noticed here as I looking through, I Am Safe. Lori just came on and she was featured an episode or two ago about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, so you use them as an example. How would your organization help them?
We support them when they have needs. We do in-gathering. We have one member who makes Afghans for the kids so that when they come in, they have something to wrap up in, to cuddle
Patty's
with.
sister.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know that. I learned a little bit.
We also gather stuffed animals. We had a number of stuffed animals that were given to us, all new or
Okay.
like new, that they could use there for the children when they come in.
Sure. And I'm just using them because I'm familiar with that. My students at the Montcalm Area Career Center produced a video for I Am Safe to help them send out to different organizations so that they'd have an idea what to expect when they got there. You're going in a separate entrance. The kids do not know you're there, that type of thing. So I got to learn a little bit more about that organization. So I was just kind of reading through here. It says, birthday bags. You mentioned lunch bags that you're coloring or putting a personal message on. What are some of the other organizations that you are helping now? And I know that this probably will change. You might add, somebody needs some help, they're going to come to you. But what have you been doing, since 2020 to now?
One of our biggest projects continues for the time being to place Narcan inside of first aid kits that the health department distributes.
Okay.
Now, we don't know how much longer they'll be able to get Narcan.
Right.
But while they do, we take apart the first aid kits, open up the Narcan, put everything back into the kit, and then they can be distributed.
We also prepare lock bags for the health department so that drugs can be kept safely when there are children in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We work with Barry's house, with
Well, the birthday
Heartland.
bags.
Yes, birthday bags, Barry's house. We've done a couple of special projects considering homeless or underhoused. We've done safe shower kits and made arrangements where people could get showers at the health club.
So you're kind of the extra hands that these organizations may not have.
We've done
Yes.
laundry kits
Yes.
with, laundry supplies and quarters.
Okay.
So that those who need them, when they come to the food bank, they may be able to get a laundry kit.
Okay, and the quarters to run the machines when they're there. That makes perfect sense. So you're there to help participate in whatever need an organization might have. Wow. I mean, all that said, in Volunteers in Action, why is it at the gathering place? As we talked about earlier, that is a pretty long title, but instead of just, at the gathering place.
Well, when Jan got us started, she went out on her own and rented this small building that's attached to the Daily News building.
Okay.
And we called it the Gathering Place. And now now that we have 501c3 status, we are actively working to find ways of supporting the projects that we do.
Sure.
As much as we take donations from everyone, but especially from our members, we also need to make sure that we can earn some money in different ways to pay our rent and utilities.
You have bills to pay too.
And the Gathering Place is a warm sound. It's the best name for where we are and what we do.
Well, I like it. It just, as you
Yeah.
said it. Now, you said you had a website. What is the website address?
I wrote it down.
You wrote it down. So
I-
as we're all looking here at the,
It's also new.
it's
Yes.
also new. So we got here that. Oh, is that this one right here?
That is the website, VIA-TGP. And I can't see the rest of it from here.
.GoDaddySites.com.
Yes.
So I think the big thing as you gain more traction here, just Google Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place, and I'm sure it's going to start popping.
Yes.
It's going to start popping up. So this will be on the screen for anybody that's listening to it. Jump into the YouTube video. It'll be there. It'll also be on the description on the DiscoverMontcalmPodcast.com page. So it'll have a link back to your website
Good.
there as well. You said that you're sharing part of the building with the Daily News, or they're sharing part of their building with you. I mean, however that works. What's the address?
The address is 120 West Grove.
Okay.
We have our own entrance. Excuse me.
Let me start that again. Let me start with I'll ask you the address.
Okay.
So that'll give us a nice little cut point. You're part of the Daily News. What is the address?
Well, we're not really part of the Daily
okay,
News.
Let me re-ask that. Let me re-ask that question. Okay, if I'm going to make a mistake, I told you we just go downhill, we come back
Yeah.
up again. You're located in part of the Daily News building. What is your address?
Our address is 120 West Grove Street. You enter from Grove Street, not through the Daily News.
Right.
It's a separate little spot that has a couple of rooms that we occupy and keep full of supplies.
Do you have specific hours, or do you take appointments? How does that work?
On Mondays from 1 to 3, we gather and do our projects.
Okay. And how does somebody, I noticed here we got a phone number too. I thought we had a phone
We
number.
don't have a phone number.
You don't have a phone
Yet.
number, so you got to go to the web. Okay. So this is all web-based, but you are part of the Greenville Area Chamber of Commerce. So you could go to the Greenville Area Chamber of Commerce and search for, Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place there, and your contact information will be there.
We are open every Monday from 1 until 3, except for holidays.
Okay.
Or snow days,
Yep.
weather-related days. We finally have an open sign, a neon sign, so it is on whenever we're there from 1 to 3 on Mondays.
And because this is fairly new, I mean, that time might expand as you get bigger and as more need. How does somebody goes to the website if they want to maybe help volunteer? Is there information on the website for them to get that information as well?
Yes, there is. We also have a Facebook page, and the information can be found through the Chamber of Commerce as well.
Okay. So the Facebook page, is it the full title here? Do you remember?
Let me check. I think it's just the Gathering Place.
Okay, so while she's looking for that, Patty and I are going to have a conversation. you're the board president. Did you skip a meeting? Is that how you became president? I mean, I've been part of organizations before. I know how this works.
It was pretty close. I was there. I was asked if I would be on the board, and they said, "You're president."
Okay.
And I was asked if I'd be on the board, and I'm on the board.
Okay. Well, I say that because way back in, I don't know, middle of the 90s, the Panhandle Area Chamber here was starting, and there was 9 of us that kind of got it going, and we're sitting there, and we were talking about who was going to be the president. The board would elect its officers. It was brand new, and I was about ready to volunteer somebody else when he spoke up and said me, and before I knew it, I was the president of that.
Well, there was a group that was working together with Jan, and were you part of that group?
Yes.
So Patty can speak better to this than I can, but you all pulled together the paperwork for the 501c3. Is that correct?
Yes. Jan and Danny Marco were very instrumental in that process. And then as we came together as a board, then we have been working on documentation. And so we're nearing our 1-year anniversary and nearing the completion of those tasks.
It's constant.
Yes.
It's one of those things that one person has an idea, brings others on. Before you know it, you're board president. So the Facebook page, you kind of put things out there. What is the
And
Facebook?
it is called The Gathering Place.
The Gathering Place.
Just enter The Gathering Place in Facebook, and it'll take you there.
And you keep people up to date there. So there's another way that people can reach out if they want to volunteer.
Yes.
They can go
and
to
word of mouth.
Oh.
I mean, we're all talking to our friends and people we know, passing out little cards. Like right now, we are in gathering picnic supplies to take to the various food banks.
Okay.
So that those who need food can have some fun food too. Have some picnic time.
Sure.
And so we passed out a number of little sheets of paper showing what we're doing around the community, and had 2 or 3 people stop in on Monday during our hours and bring supplies to us.
That's how it starts, right? I mean, and it just keeps growing, and it's nice to know that there's people there that support the other, because I know everybody when it comes to volunteers, they're all, I don't know if they're hurting, but everybody could say we could use more volunteer help.
I think we have about 25 active, and we've had new people come in the last few weeks. We've had 1 or 2 new people come in just to say, I wondered what you do here, and I saw your open sign.
Right.
And, my motto is what's fun gets done. And we
Okay.
make sure that we have fun when we're there. I mean, we're all talking and enjoying each other, and we get to work.
And you get to help.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about community.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the biggest things that I like about the Discover Montcalm podcast, is that I get to meet people like you that are out doing things, and I get to share your story. So to me, that's a personal goal that I have, is to go out and meet people that I don't know, tell their story, and say, welcome to Montcalm County, because look at what we have. And to me, I think that is, I think it's cool. And it's kind of why I do it.
Patty has a couple of projects that are near and dear to her heart that I hope she can tell you about. One of
Please.
mine, though, is taking the holiday cards to the adults in foster care and nursing care.
Sure.
I didn't realize how much that meant to those folks. I thought, we're just delivering cards. I delivered cards where my mom was for a year,
Okay.
and she wanted me to write a thank you note to the people who sent the card. I mean, it just meant so much to get something.
It's the little things sometimes.
I delivered to another adult foster care, and I had told them where I was from, but staff changes, and a woman followed me out. A woman that worked there followed me out to my car and said, "Where are you from? Who's the people that do this?" Mm-hmm. She said, "The men love getting these cards because they don't get mail otherwise."
Okay.
And she said, "I come back a week after they've gotten their things, and they show me, look what we got." So it's it's really enjoyable to know that you're helping brighten someone's day.
And I think at that point, the why is all answered. Like, why do we do it?
Those deliveries are really the most fun, to walk in and they get so excited that they know that the cards are coming, and it is a big deal. We also, early literacy as well as life literacy is one of our projects, and we take our mobile free library around to summer festivals, to events, and just give away books. And it's so exciting to have a little boy come running, "I love books," when he sees it.
Well, and I'm starting to get the feeling that this is a pretty deep well that you help. I mean, there's multiple layers to what you're doing. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things.
Oh, there's got to be something that will interest most people because we have such a variety. Patty mentioned the little free libraries. We also have book boxes designed specifically around Alzheimer's, not only for Alzheimer's patients, but for their families and their young children or young grandchildren to see what's going on. How come Grandma doesn't remember my name? We've had those book boxes around various areas in the county, and we're redistributing to see where they work best, or if they're not working a place, find another place to use them.
Well, it's learning more about the community, learning more about the community. The Gathering Place on Facebook. The website will be on our page. Is there one story? I mean, I kind of got the idea that with your mom, that kind of answered the why you were doing it. Have you had a story, Patty, that you went, I know why I'm supposed to be here?
One of my favorite projects has been, we installed a little free library at Greenbrier Trailer Park between Belding and Greenville. And when I cold knocked on the manager's door, it was a new manager. She said, "This has a reputation as being one of the worst trailer parks in Michigan. I'm determined to change that. This is where we live. We need to be proud of our community." We got to be part of that, putting in our little free library near the playground. And every other month or so, we have a party for everyone there. Again, with handing out books. We've done a science fair. We do holiday parties. It is so fun to be part of a building up of community.
I'm just looking here. It talks about blessing bags in December.
Oh, that was fun.
They're all fun, but
Yeah.
especially so.
Can we elaborate on, you did it for the COA. Who's the COA?
Commission on Aging.
Oh, okay,
So-
right back to what you
Another
said.
acronym.
Yeah, another acronym, but, another place that
Another
means a
place.
lot.
We have, we put together shelf-stable meals.
Okay.
Like there's complete meals that you can find in the grocery store. A shelf-stable, microwavable meal. We add like a granola bar and a fruit cup to that, and give those to Commission on Aging to take out when they're delivering Meals on Wheels. So that for those days that the weather is so bad they can't make it, that senior has something they can have as a meal.
Right.
We did another little one this spring that we sent thank yous to all of their volunteers who deliver the meals,
Okay.
and sent a little bag of sweets. I can't remember what all we had in there, but did another one of those kinds of bags to each of their recipients.
So I can tell you have a passion for what you're doing. And I think that we all have something that we're passionate about. And I can tell just talking to you where that passion lies. As we wrap up this episode, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to make sure that we did before we sign off? that $1,000,000 question. What haven't I asked you yet?
I can't think of something that you haven't asked, but I would just encourage everyone to get involved with making their community better. There's a million ways to do that. And in rather trying times, taking care of oneself is so important. And doing something for someone else is, in effect, taking care of oneself.
Sure. Any last closing stuff here for you, Holly?
If these projects haven't inspired or haven't hit that spot that you want to work on, we have others.
Well, and I would guess that just because if there's something that somebody like, they could come to you and say, well, what about adding this to your list?
And we are always open to suggestions. You know, we're also pretty thrifty people. We were able, Jan went out and purchased over $2,000 worth of winter gear at the year-end sales or end-of-season sales that we have to give out come next cold weather season.
Right.
We have, we're working on a period project where we provide supplies to girls in schools.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard some project that just kind of catches your ear, think of one and let us know.
Well, and that's what I kind of gathered, not pulling off your name, but you're doing what you're doing because somebody came to you with that idea.
Absolutely.
And just because you haven't done it, if somebody has an idea out there in the Montcalm County area, the Greenville area, come and talk to Patty and Holly and anybody that's part of Volunteers in Action at the Gathering Place. I'm sure you're more than happy to listen.
Absolutely.
Again,
we'll welcome them in.
Yeah, your hours again?
Mondays from 1 until 3.
And you can catch you on Facebook at The Gathering Place.
Yes.
I want to thank you both for coming in and sharing this. You can catch the Discover Montcalm podcast on discovermontcalmpodcast.com, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And because this is still fairly new to me, and on Pandora, Apple Podcast, and iHeart, you can also go to discovermontcalmpodcast.com, grab the RSS feed, put it in your favorite podcast browser. Spread the word about Discover Montcalm. It's all about community. And the more that we talk to others and we learn from others, the more that we can make, as Holly and Patty said, a better place. You know, it's like one person at a time. So on that note, I'm Dwayne, your host and producer. Remember to buy and shop locally.
We would like to thank M1063, WGLM, FM, M1063.com. West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions is your local source for managed IT, websites design and hosting. Check them out at WMTDS.com. At Business Growth Engine, Stephen and his team support businesses through automation and streamlined processes. Go to buildergrowthengine.com. DW Video transfers your home movies, slides, audio, and videotapes to digital. They produce and design websites, create business and social media videos, TV commercials, and family storytelling videos. Visit dwvideo.com to learn more. Connect and follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our episodes at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. We look forward to featuring your business, community, nonprofit, events, and more. Contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624. Thank you for tuning in and following the Discover Montcalm podcast.